welcome to the Music Pro Services podcast. And Amla, welcome back.
Thanks for having me again.
I know. What we'll do, just second.
Oh, yes.
That's it. Oh, people relaxed.
Oh, oops.
What we'll do, that's all right. I know what it is.
Yes.
Anyway. So how you been? Good?
Yeah, good.
Very good.
Yourself?
Yeah, very good. Very good. We're going to stay on the theme from last time, as in teaching, because I think there's a lot to be said for teachers and students, and I don't think there's a lot out there where, someone can actually listen to someone talking about how to find the right teacher, or what is expected from a student, and what the expectations are from the student and teacher relationship sort of thing. So what I wanted to talk about today is why some students progress faster than others. And we've both have had this, right? And we've probably been in the middle of that as students as well in the past. So what are the things that, excel a student faster than others? Is it habits, consistency? What do you think it is?
Look, it's a combination of things, I feel, but something I've learned within my own practice as well that I try and implement with my students is focused practice. And more like 2 hours of practice may not necessarily be as effective as, say, 30 minutes of really intentional. And what I do, you've got to assign, for an effective practice, if you're be specific about your goals. A lot of students, and I myself included, we just play the same song over and over again the whole way through. Repetition of the whole song, not really looking at where the gaps are. Yeah, exactly. And we just repeat because it's fun, which is important. You've got to have fun. But in a focus session, you might just focus on the first 4 bars of a section and then look and finesse that area and go, okay, what can I improve here? Or it depends. But I would feel like less is more sometimes, as long as it's intentional and focused, 5 minutes of warm-ups, 10 minutes of scales, and change it around a bit.
Yeah, I think what I tend to do is it's along the same lines. It's targeted.
Yes.
So where are the gaps? Where is the student having issues? A student that tends to those gaps or those targeted sort of problems or those targeted issues, and works on them and nails them or gets them to a point where they can now play the piece right through, I think will be a bit faster than someone who's just, as you said before, rehearsing the same thing over and over again from start to end. And as they play, when they get to that certain part, it's always that mistake. And that happens even to us.
Oh,
right?
Yes.
Right? And even to this day, I do targeted practice when I need to, especially if you want to get over some sort of a hump or some sort of a difficulty in what you're playing, whether it's a scale, whether it's a piece. That thing is probably going to be the reason why you're going to progress faster than some other students. But I think as a teacher, you need to really make them aware of it.
Definitely. So a lot of the time I wasn't aware of it as a kid. Even in uni, I was the person playing the piece from start to finish going, I've spent 6 hours in this practice room. Why haven't I improved? And it was frustrating. So it is our duty as teachers to share these pearls of wisdom. It changed my life within my playing, knowing this little.
It would. It would. And I think that's whether the next thing I want to talk about is the student who practices smart versus the student who practices hard.
Yes.
Right? I think a bit of both is good, but the smart is very important. But there are some students that don't know. So we have to be, as teachers, we have to be responsible to let them know of how that happens. Now, practicing smart, there's a lot of things that you can go through.
Yes.
But one thing one method I'm gonna talk about is the chunking method.
Yes, I love the chunking method.
Yeah. So the chunking method, whether you're playing a piece, whether you're looking at a piece or you're listening to a piece, chunk chunk the pieces, whether it's a bar, whether it's 2 bars, 4 bars, and if you need to repeat that, and they say that scientifically, it's if you repeat something 7 to 10 times, it starts to get absorbed, right? That chunking has helped not only me, but it's helped my students as well. So within in a span of 30 seconds, you know, repeat that, and then repeat the next chunk, and then you bring those 2 chunks together.
That's right.
And I think that is a quite effective method because look, music is quite complicated, and for someone to get it, you know, just off the bat, for some it's easier, for some it isn't. So you need to be ready for options as a teacher.
Yes.
I think.
Yes, options. And on that note of chunking, I have a student who I've introduced the concept of chunking, but this is a student who loves playing and wants to rush through everything because they're just excited to play. And they find it hard to,
because now they have to slow down.
Yes. It's interesting though. It's like the patience needs to come in a little bit there. Like short term, like the rewards will come in. It takes a little while, but you will start to see a difference.
Yeah. And I think the other thing that comes up here is the consistency, right?
Yes.
Of the consistency from a practicing perspective, right? So, and there are some students who practice consistently and they bring it to the table and they to the next lesson, or whether it's a lesson or whether it's a gig for some students, and the consistency really helps with them. When I was growing up, it was a funny thing because I relied on my talent a bit.
Yeah.
So it's the consistency versus talent up to a certain age, right? But then I found that, you know what, talent is only as good as how you feed it and how much you give into your talent, how much you give to your talent. There's a lot of popular musicians that say, you know, talent is only 10%, the 90% is all hard work. So that's where the consistency comes in. And I tend to agree with that up to a certain point. I think talent is something that is based on interest. Like if you're really interested in something, it's a fine line between being really, really interested and then you're going to be playing this piece, or, you know, and then all of a sudden you play it. Then, you know, someone who's not as interested but can play it through consistency. Do you know?
Yeah, there's a bit of, I do know what you're saying, although
maybe I've confused everyone else.
No, I do know what you're saying. With someone who may not be as interested in that topic or instrument can play it effortlessly versus someone who, I mean, but you're saying, but because that's the drive that they need. The drive. It's important to have that drive. You may not be as naturally gifted, but yeah.
So the drive is actually is very important for the consistency.
Oh yes, I mean you could be talented, but then you don't. I guess you don't nurture or water the talent.
That's right.
And then it just becomes stagnant, or it stays at that level.
Definitely right. And to add to that, we all become there at some point because we know a piece all too often, and then all of a sudden we make a mistake and we think, oh, okay, maybe I do need to.
That was me last week at the mariachi gig. I was having a little nap while I was playing. You know, I'm like, I know this piece, and then I missed the entry.
and that's when, see, it's the focus.
Yes, it is the focus.
It's the focus, right? But at the end of the day, everyone's different, and everyone uses different mechanisms. I think as teachers, we have to identify where the hard work is as well, whether it's talent, whether it's consistency, and I know that we need to reward these students in a way that, all right, so now you can play this and you're playing it really well. All right, now the reward is this. You give them something else.
Exactly.
Whether it's another piece or you give them a different, something from the vault, or, you know, so it needs to be acknowledged and rewarded.
It does. Otherwise, they just feel like it's hard work and it's a
why
dead
have
end.
I done all of this?
Yeah.
You know, why am I doing it? What's the point?
Yeah.
And the biggest thing is the why, right? All the time, as we always discuss, right? It's the why. But the work smarter or sort of practice smarter versus practicing harder, they'll both get you there. I think the smarter will get you there a bit quicker. And I think that smarter is, you can actually achieve that as a student with the right teacher.
You do. And it's literally you're building the foundations. Yeah. You're really, like you said, chunking. That's one example.
Yeah.
you're working through the foundations within that section, and then you slowly add more elements to it, and then you're able to. It's like you said, it works out quicker in the end. Otherwise, you spend.
Look, can you imagine like you're hitting a brick wall all the time? You're going, and you think, what's going on here?
Like I'm practicing. Yeah.
But if I cut a doorway, it's going to probably take me about 2-3 days to cut through the brick wall. But I'm actually going to go through the doorway if I just keep on hitting it with my head. It's not going to happen.
No.
Right. So you're right, and we've all been victims of that, and sometimes we still are because we want to get to the end.
We want to get to the end quickly, yes.
And that's what you were talking about before, the patience.
Yes, it's so important, especially with an instrument. The flute example, a lot of students find it awkward. It is hard. It is difficult at the start. It is difficult.
It's very difficult. I've tried it. It's very difficult.
Once you got to get the foundations, but a few students don't have. I understand as well. Like there's an instant gratification going on here too. You've got to really be prepared to work at it for a bit longer. Then you'll be like, oh, it feels easy. I can hold it. And but a lot of students, there's a few that don't get to that point because they're like, it doesn't sound good. Oh, this instrument, you can just blow into it and it makes a sound. Oh, the piano, you can just press the key. But the piano is very difficult in its own way.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
But I think that's, again, the patience.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it is.
You're spot on with that. And even not even playing an instrument, even if you know an instrument and you're trying to learn a piece and you think you want to get to the end goal or you got a deadline or anything like that, but you've got a gig to play, it's like, oh, it's not happening. Bring it back. You know, and as a teacher, being a musician, I think has its advantages because you know these methods. You know the chunking method. You know this method. You know that method. You go, oh, hang on. What's the best way for me to learn this? You know, am I gonna rip out the chart that is 17 pages long? You know, or am I gonna just use a bit of it and then you use my ear for the rest? So we've got there's methods there, right? But it's very important, I think, to make the student aware to be patient.
Yes. To be
and
patient.
Those methods, those things, those chunking or those repetitive sessions, and we'll bring them to that point eventually, I think.
Yes. I mean, there's so many, like chunking's just one aspect.
It's one.
One.
And I think another one is to teach them how to listen.
So important to hear themselves while they're playing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
And that's along the same path. And that's a very important thing. And I tell my students to record themselves.
Yes, same.
Record yourself, even record the lesson. You know, just see how you play when the teacher is there, and then record it on your own. And then they'll notice like, oh, okay, I'm speeding things up here, or I'm being a bit impatient. But there's a lot of ways to skin a cat, as I say. But I think the most important thing is to be open with the student about that.
Yes.
Because we come from a different background and from different teachers, different. It was a totally different world. I think when we were, you know, learning and we were students. But at the end of the day, again, you know, it's about that consistency and how to teach them that consistency as well, and with a bit of talent.
Yeah,
that's a pretty good formula, you know. I think, I think the other thing is how do we support a student when they've plateaued, like when they're upset at a certain point, they're doing everything. They're doing the chunking, they're doing the hearing, they're doing, you know, they're playing really well. They're at that point, and all of a sudden there's a plateau, and they're not, like, you're trying to develop them, but it's not happening. So I don't know whether you've been in that situation before.
Yes. It normally happens around year 9.
Okay. I was going to say it normally happens around about 45. So what happens in that sense? What are some of the things that you'll implement to actually get over the plateau?
Well, I guess what I realized, the one thing is to not force them out of it. If they're in a plateau, I think us teachers can be quick to go, oh no, and then try and give them all this music or try and just you know, compensate. That's the word, for them feeling that way. I I don't force it. That's something I've had to pull back on. I noticed that I like to go through the goals with them again and like why they're doing. I ask them, oh, why? Just we're going to chat about why do you play this instrument, or what do you like about it, and just remind them of what they enjoy about the instrument. And I mean, from my experience, I notice a plateau when students are stressed about, especially my teen students, are stressed about exams.
External factors.
External factors can cause the plateau.
Yeah.
How about you?
Well, look, I think plateaus are different for everyone. You need to get to the root cause.
Yeah.
Whether it's a musical thing, whether it's an external thing.
Yeah.
And even to the point where, you get them to have a bit of a break, maybe a week or two.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I do when I plateau. I take some time off.
Take a break. Do something else. Go fishing or something. I don't know.
Read a book. Watch a movie.
And then I think it needs to be fresh again for them. I think that's something that I've experienced myself, and I've had students experience, and there's that plateau. As you said, you can't give them new things, and
no, sometimes you just got to let them. And like in my case, I get a lot of students plateauing when they're in the midst of exams, and I don't like with the duets girl. Like I didn't want to. She was stressed. Like just give us something simple that she can come back to.
And the good thing is that she let you know, because you wouldn't have known otherwise.
Well, I just sensed that she was, duets, and then she said, "Yeah, she did, yeah." Well, that was the improv student. Yes, she let me know. She let me.
But I think there's a couple of ways to tackle it. But at the end of the day, and we're sort of like managers as well. We have to manage those expectations, because a student, again, and I've said it before, where they're very accountable for them, and they're looking up to us for not only guidance but inspiration as well. And in those plateaus, that inspiration can be a bit of a boost as well. How to inspire them again. So it's not only that we're teaching an instrument, we're teaching a hell of a lot more. So
that's a good point about the inspiration. I'll occasionally put up a video like of a flip player doing circular breathing, or that's a very good point. And
that is very, and that was a thing for me as well. With when I go head to a plateau, or I'm on a plateau as an artist, you listen to something, or you go to a concert, or you go to a concert, and you think, geez, this is inspiring. Brings you back to that, to that freshness and to everything like that. But I mean, look, at the end of the day, it's your consistency, your talent, and everything else, and everything is encompassing. We just need to guide the students sometimes, and we have to know how to guide them.
That's right.
And how to teach them, but it's guidance is a very important thing. And on that note, thank you once again, Amla, for coming to the podcast.
Thanks for having me. They're big topics I could talk about. They are.
They're very, very big topics, and your knowledge I think is very valuable to the podcast. If anyone wants to record music, or have guitar lessons, flute lessons, violin lessons, or mentoring, musicproservices.com. And if you like the videos, subscribe, click the thumbs up, and we'll see you next time. Ciao.